Hi everyone, and welcome to my 2016 January update video. As usual, I have a fair bit to show you this month. Have 4 new starts for the month of January, and some of those were in stitch along groups, which I will discuss as I go through each one. I have a couple of finishes and 1 FFO. And in this video I'm also going to discuss my plans for February, have a little bit of a talk about my stitching rotation because I do still get a lot of questions regarding that, so I'll go into a little bit more detail about that, as well as the time that I allocate for stitching. And it's probably the biggest question I get is, how do you stitch so much each day? So I'll go into a little bit more detail about that for you. And just a couple of purchases. So I was pretty good this past month, so a lot to get into, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with the first whip and new start for the year, and I'm doing the Santa's Village stitch along with Santa's Village Sow group on Facebook. And I've chosen to do all 12 of my designs on one piece of fabric, and this was the design I started on the 1st of January. So this is Santa's house. Now I'm actually doing my 12 the original setup that was designed by Cottage Needleworks, and I know some other people are changing their designs around, which is awesome, but I've just decided just to do it the way that it was planned, and I didn't have to think about it too much. The one thing that I have not done as yet is added my buttons. Although I cannot wash this fabric when I finish it because it has hand-dyed threads in it, I don't want to put the buttons on yet because I am stitching it on a scroll frame and I don't want the buttons to move. So they will all be put on at the end, so I have to keep them nice and safe so I don't lose them. So I still have this on the scroll frame because I'll be going back to this in a couple of days. And this might not have been the best idea for the video to leave it on the frame. But there is my Santa's house. He's really cute. Really love it on the fabric. Not sure if the sparkle shows, but it's 32 count opalescent Belfast linen. And the only thing I changed was I added a doorstep. Oh, and the flowers on the wreath above the door, I just changed them to look a little bit more symmetrical, because us Librans, we like things to balance, don't like things to be off center. So that's just something that I did. But love stitching this design. I found the little red and white border along the top a little bit tedious, so I would do a little bit, park the threads and then do something else for a while, then go back to it. But that's just me. I'm just not a lover of stitching a lot of solid colour at once. And the snow wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I actually used my laying tool to help me lay the white nice and flat, so I was really happy with how that turned out. So this, for those of you that don't know, this one will be 4 villages across and 3 down, so it's a really lovely big piece of fabric there. And I haven't decided how I'm going to fully finish it yet, possibly a wall hanging, but I'll reserve my judgment on that when it's finished. So this one is my week 1 whip that I am sharing with the next project that I'm going to show you. So this particular design took me about 5 days to stitch the whole village, and that still leaves a couple of extra days out of the week, so that's when I will be doing the next project, which is the Brooke's Books stitch along. So that's it for that one. So next project in the second half of my week 1 whip rotation is Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, and this is part of the Brooke's Books stitch along sale with Stitch Mania Facebook group. And this is Dorothy here. And those of you that follow me on Instagram will know that I had a little dilemma with her stockings. I stitched them black, and then I decided, well, they weren't black in the movie. So I changed them to skin colour. Wasn't really happy there. Put out a bit of a vote on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you to everyone that voted, because you really did help me. And I decided to stick with the black because, yes, I know it wasn't in the movie, but then neither were her shoes. In the movie, her shoes were red, and these are silver. And I've had a few comments on that from those of you that still don't know, but these characters are based on the book, not the movie. And the book is different. And I decided that if I changed Dorothy based on the movie, then I would have to change the other characters too. And when I come to the witch, you'll understand why I don't want to do that, because the witch looks completely different to the movie witch. So I decided to keep these characters true to their design in the book, and just not put too much extra thought into it, because I just want to stitch them. And these are so easy to stitch, so lovely. So this is my Dorothy. That's how she came out. I love her. Just enough bling. I'm stitching this on 32 count Belfast opalescent linen, so the fabric itself has some bling as well. There is something I didn't do. Dorothy was charted to have 2 straight lines down the edge of her face. I put them in, and I decided I didn't really like them. I quite liked the little plump face that she's got there, so I took them out. What else did I change? I think I kept everything else the same. So, as I mentioned in my previous video, I'll be doing all 12 of these characters, 1 per month, so it will be a year-long project. And I plan on doing 4 characters on each piece of fabric. So you can see here's the piece here. And I'll do 3 pieces of fabric, so I'll have 3 separate frames to go up on the wall. Now, I did make a boo-boo when I started this on the 1st of January. I centered my fabric, I centered Dorothy, and I started stitching. And then I realised that, oh, Dorothy's not actually meant to be in the middle of the fabric, because there's going to be 4 characters on here. The middle of the fabric is actually here. So luckily I realised that before it got too late, and I unpicked her and started her again. So on this side, and for February, this will be the Scarecrow. So I'm really looking forward to starting him. And I'll show you him in when I talk about my February plans. So yeah, really quick, easy stitch. This, just absolutely love it. As I said, that's with the Stitch Mania Facebook group, the Brooke's Books Stitch Along. And that is a year-long stitch along. The other thing I did mention before, but I'll just mention it again because there's been some interest in it, that these particular designs have been charted using DMC light effects, and I don't like them. Personally, they're not for me. So I changed them all to Petite Treasure braid, except for one, because one particular colour, there wasn't a close enough match. So I decided to keep that one as the DMC light effects, because I figured stitching one colour won't kill me. So, but I have changed all the rest, and for anyone that's interested, I will put the details down below in the description box for this video, so you can see which colours I've converted them to. So in this particular design with Dorothy, the gold on the yellow brick road is Petite Treasure braid and her silver shoes, and that is it. So some characters are a little bit more sparkly than others, and just really I'm excited about this project the most this year. I think just, you know how much I love Wizard of Oz, so really loving this, and I love the fact that it's going to stretch out for the entire year. It just makes me really happy. And then we come to my week 2 whip for the year, and this is also a stitch along with Stitch Mania as well. New Year, New Start, their stitch along, and I've chosen to do Mirabilia Roses of Provence, and this is the design that my mum chose for me to stitch for her, and I've loved this one for a long time, and just seeing Teresa Little Stitcher stitch it, I was so excited when Mum chose it. So, and I'm not going to finish it before you, Teresa. I doubt that very much. Anyway, so this was started on 1st of January as well, and I've also managed a whole week as well. It's my week 2. And this is where I am up to. So I'm not sure how well that fabric shows up on camera, but it is a very light mottled lavender. So it blends really well with the lavender tonings in the dress. So on the right hand side there is the topiary, which looks like a stick of bamboo. And then part of her dress with the ruffles. This is a really lovely stitch. This is 32 count fabric, and I'm stitching this 2/2. I will be doing her skin 1/1 when I get to it, but I'll probably be saving that to last. I usually like to do the light colours last to keep them clean longer, but the majority of her dress is in white. There's 7 skeins of white, so I really can't leave that till last. So I just have to be super clean and careful. Yeah, so really liking this. Someone asked me if I am parking on this. No, I generally just like to park on my Heaven and Earth designs. If I find something has a ton of confetti in it, I change to parking, like my giraffes. I did that because it just was so much quicker. So yeah, no, this one's just traditional cross-country stitching for me. But I love this design, and I'm hoping it won't take too long, because when this one's finished, Pyrex Stitches, Claire and I are going to be doing a stitch along together, which is going to be really exciting. So looking forward to that one, but more about that later. And next one is my week 3 whip, and that is a stitch along with Cross Stitch It's Fun Facebook group, and that's for a Heaven and Earth design stitch along, and it's a 100 stitches a week challenge. So I thought that was a really good challenge, and being as I hadn't stitched on my Heaven and Earth design for some months, I think October was the last time I had worked on her, I really want to get her finished, because I have a whole stack of Heaven and Earth designs that I want to do, like the rest of you do, and we all know how long they take. So as much as I'm loving this piece, loving how it's turning out, I will not be doing the 28 count again. I will be doing 25 count on my next project, but we'll discuss that later on down the track when I've decided exactly what I'm going to stitch. So I will insert a picture here of last time you saw her, which was quite a while ago, so you can see where I was up to. And here she is now. She's still on the frame because I need to do my 100 stitches this week, and I'll be doing that tonight. So this is where I'm up to, and please excuse the parked threads. So quite a lot of progress since last time you saw her, because as well as my 100 stitches a week, and I did more than 100 some weeks, so for the week 3 progress for this particular design, I actually managed 5,021 stitches, which is probably the most I've ever stitched on anything in a week. But don't forget, that's continental tent stitching, so it's half as much stitching because it's only 1/2 of the stitch. But that was 27, nearly 28 hours worth of stitching, to give you an idea. So I actually managed to finish off page 5 on the Saturday, and she's just over halfway complete now. So that's really good to know. So if I keep up with this progress, she will be finished before the end of the year. I think I worked out around August, September, depending obviously how much I can stitch each week. But that's very promising, and that means I'm going to have to start thinking about which Heaven and Earth design to do next. And that's a tough one, because there's so many beautiful ones. I really want to do Up on the Rooftop, because so many of you are doing that now, and it's been sitting there in my box behind me for a little while. But I also want to do the butterfly woods that my friend Tina sent me. And then there's another one that I've got and I can't think what it's called. Yeah, why did they take so long? I wish they didn't, because I just love them. And the other start that I had for January, which was also done on January the 1st, everything that I've shown you was started on January the 1st, except for the Heaven and Earth designs. That was January the 2nd, because that's when their stitch along started. So the other one was my January Cottage, my Country Cottage Needleworks, and I finished this in record time. I finished this in a couple of days. Got my journal in front of me. Just have a look. Yep, that was finished on the 9th of January. So record finish for me for the cottages, and I just put that down to the fact that I was on holidays, so I probably got more stitching time done. But also, this time what I did differently was I attached some fabric. Can't show you because it's finished now, but I'll be doing this with the February Cottage as well. I attached some fabric to the top and bottom, so just some cotton material to the top and bottom with an overlocker, just so that made the fabric long enough for me to fit it into my scroll frame, because normally I can't, because the stretcher bars are longer than the actual material. So I was stitching it in my hoop, and I've had another story, but I've had an issue with my hoop and I broke the thread on the screw, so I haven't been able to use that. So I sewed on this extra fabric, so it made my stitching fabric much longer. I was able to put it on the scroll frame, and I stitched my cottage two-handed and was done just like that. So I'll be doing the same thing for February Cottage, and we'll see if that gets done as quick. So January Cottage is now finished, and just before I did this video today, I turned it into a cube. So it's all done, finished. I really like this one. I like the colours. I like the blues that they used. And even though it was a record finish, it's taken me nearly an entire month to fully finish this into a cube. And the reason being is I just could not find the fabric that I wanted to go with it. Eventually I found it. And I don't know if you can see, but it sparkles. You probably can't, because I have video on my iPhone, and iPhones just, what is it? They don't like sparkle. Silly iPhones. This was part of the Frozen range, and it was being discontinued from my store. So really liked it. I thought it picked up the colours really nice. The only thing is the white bow is temporary, because I want to find a more sparkly one, and one that can hold its own shape. So it's on there for the purposes of this video, but as soon as I find a more suitable bow, that will be being changed. So that's January, and I only have 2 to go. I'm going to be sad when I finish these series. Won't know what to do with myself. So that is that one. And then I had a really pleasant surprise. At the beginning of January 1st, I realised that I did not have a project for my week 4 WIP, to work on week 4 of every month for the year. And I have hundreds of projects that are currently calling to me. And there are all these stitch alongs that have started. There's the postcard stitch along, and then there's the sunflower diaries. Oh, and I wanted to start them all so much. But I decided that I have so many things in my stash that I bought because I love them, and they want me to stitch on them, and then I'm torn towards these other stitch alongs. I know you all know exactly how I feel, because you all feel the same way. So I decided to be strong and go through my box and see what called to me the most. And I came up with a really good plan. So I decided, I'll just take this out. I decided to do Country Cottage Needleworks, of course. I'm keeping them in business. Seasonal celebrations, summer. Okay, so for those of you that live overseas, in Australia, summer is December, January, February. Then it's autumn, March, April, May. Then it's winter, June, July, August. And then spring, September, October, November. So we are still in summer. It was still safe for me to stitch this. I have all 4 seasons. and I'm going to do them all this year, and they don't take very long to do, which is great because I got this done within the week, 5 days I think. And so I have planned to stitch these as my WIP 4 project in the month that the season starts. This month was late because summer for us starts in December. That's okay, it's still summer in January. So I will be doing the rest of these throughout the year until they're all done. And I haven't decided how I'm going to finish them yet. I might wait until they're all done. I think they're a bit big for a flat fold. I'm really desperate to do another flat fold because I know I have to do a tutorial for you all. But this just seems a little bit big for a flat fold. So the recommended fabric was 32 count linen. And I had a really nice piece of 32 count Belfast linen in my stash. I had a 19 by 27 inch piece, and I found it big enough to get all 4 designs out of the one piece, which is fantastic. I don't know what the colour is called because it's been in my stash for a long time and it wasn't in the original packaging, but I'm calling it Latte because it's a very light coffee sort of colour. It's not quite mushroom, it's not ecru, so Latte for lack of a better word. So here is my finish. Summer. I love it. So bright and colourful, just like summer should be. Love the little ants. How cute are they? And the bees. And I've got buttons on. So there's a bee button there. And a flower button there. Just like, you know, they add that extra dimension. This design is DMC, but there are 2 hand-dyed threads in this one. There is Sally's Sunshine, which is the yellow in the house, the beehives, and the wording. And as you can see, there's quite a variation in that, which was really lovely. And the other colour is called, sorry, that was Weeks Dye Works, Sally's Sunshine. The other colour is Classic Colourworks Eve's Leaves, and that's all the green. There's not as much variation in that, but if you look in the grass underneath the house, you can probably see it a little bit better. Oh, and the sun was also done in the yellow. So I love how that turned out. Had to be especially careful because I can't wash it because the Classic Colourworks is not colour fast. The Weeks Dye Works, I'm not sure whether that one is or not, but yes, it's been signed. And as I said, I'm not sure how I'm going to finish them yet. So I think they're really pretty, nice and bright. So that is that. And just while I'm on that, someone asked me how I store my hand-dyed threads. So I do a similar system to how I store the skeins, my DMC full skeins, and that was thanks to Trisha, the Left-Handed Stitches video on her storage system. So I also incorporated that for my hand-dyed threads. So what I do is I put the full skein in the bag and the name of it, and I also write, I like to write what project I have used that colour on. Just for future reference, if I'm looking for a particular colour and I can look back on the project and go, oh, I wonder what colour that was. Sometimes it might be easier just to look on the project card and find it. Once I've used part of my skein, any leftover floss I attach to my bobbin, and then I just pop the bobbin in the bag as well. Just keeps them both nice and neat. So I do that with all my hand-dyed threads, and they're just in a drawer behind me. We'll be doing a video of my craft room this year. Hope to get it done very soon, but as you can see, it's really messy behind me because I've been going through things and been looking for a few things, and yeah, just creating a big mess. So that is it for my whips, my finishes and my FFO for January. So let's talk plans for February. I don't know about you guys, but I find since doing these videos, the months just fly by, and I think it's because every week I've got something to look forward to, and then before you know it, it's the end of the month, and life just wasn't this hectic before YouTube or Flosstube. Okay, so next month, starting tomorrow, I'll be stitching Country Cottage Needleworks February Cottage, and this one, sorry, I'll take it out of the plastic. I'm so excited about this one. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Now, I'm doing my entire series in DMC and I really love the colours, but I cannot wait to see my friend Kristen, Stitchy Mum's, progress on this one, because she's doing it in hand-dyed threads. And no pressure, Kristen, I know that you've got so many projects on the go at the moment, but I cannot wait. So please tag me when you start doing that pink house, because I want to see that in the variated threads. Oh, it's just, that's going to be gorgeous. Makes me a little bit sad looking at this one that I didn't choose the variegated threads, but that's the way it goes. Next project will be the Santa's Village Sow, so also week 1, and I will be doing, I'll take it out of the plastic, should have done this before, Poinsettia Place. That's next in line. That's really cute, and I don't know where I put the buttons for that one. Oh, the buttons are with the previous one. It's got a little cardinal at the top there. So that's lovely. The thing I like about stitching one of these a month is it's easy to get really bored with projects like this, like stitching cottages or banners along the top, or even the holly and the ivy. The recurring themes can get really boring to us stitchers. Well, they do to me. So by stitching one in a week and then putting it away for a month and then pulling it out the next week, it gets exciting again. Whereas if I had to finish this and then restart another one, I would be like, oh, I have to stitch this again. Oh, a bit bored with that. So it's just nice to break it up and then you look forward to it again. That's what I find anyway. And also week 1, February's going to be as busy as January, is the Brooke's Book Stitch Along with Stitch Mania, and I will be doing Scarecrow, as I mentioned before. Love him. He's so cute. So this one he's only got gold in him, which will be in the Brick Road. But I love the straw effect, where the straw's coming out of him. So I look forward to, I've got to watch, Garrett is also doing the Wizard of Oz series, and I haven't watched your latest video yet, Garrett, but I know you're going to be changing up all your designs and adding some really special effects, so I look forward to seeing what you do with each of these characters. I'm pretty much going to stick to the designs and just enjoy it. So that's that. Week 2 will be my Roses of Provence, Mirabilia. Week 3 will be my Heaven and Earth designs. And week 4, because I have another, sorry, that's a game I have got on in the background. Week 4 will be another new start. So with a lot of umming and ahhing, I have decided to do the Lizzie Kate at Our House, because I really love the poem. And I've already got all the threads ready, as I mentioned before, with the hand dyeds. I put them all in these little pouches, so they're all ready to go. This was a kit that came with all the colours. So looking forward to that one. Just have to decide on what fabric I'm going to go with. I've got a couple of different Belfast linen colours. One is a a raw colour, and one is more a tan. So yeah, just have to decide which colour I'm going to use for that and get that one started. And that will be it for my plans for February. Of course, I have to finish my February cottage, and I hope to get some videos, some other videos done during the month of February as well for you. Okay, so let's go into a little bit more detail about how I do my rotations. I have mentioned it before, but I'll go into a little bit more detail because I've had a few questions lately on it. And I don't expect people to go back and watch all the old videos, but those of you that have, thank you, you deserve a medal. So I bought myself a proper portfolio planner this year. Last year I just used, I used 2 calendars actually, and it got quite time consuming using 2. So I just want to show you basically what I do. So this particular portfolio is a week to a page, and I find that it's just enough room to write what I want to write. In the month section is where I write what I'm going to be stitching on each week. So along the top there you'll see SV, which is Santa's Village. Now I'm planning on that for the first 5 days, and then BB is Brooke's Books, and I've allocated 2. Now I've only allocated that because that's how long it took me to do them last month. That could vary. It could take more or less time to do Santa's Village, and it could take more to do Brooke's Books, but this is just a guideline for me. Then in week 2, at the bottom of week 1 there, you'll see CCN Feb, which is my February cottage. So I'll be working on that, you know, an hour or so each night, or afternoons, whatever I can squeeze in to get that one done. Week 2 says Mirror, can't read it, it's in green, sorry. Mirror, so that's my Mirabilia Roses of Provence for the entire week. Week 3, Heaven and Earth Designs, my mini bath time. And week 4 is LK, which is Lizzie Kate. So as you can see, I start my stitching rotation on a Monday and I work right through until the Sunday. So it's 7 days of full stitching. I just find that this really works for me because I can get a solid chunk of stitching done within the week, and I'm happy enough to put it away because I've got a lot of progress done. I can put it away, I can pull out the next week's project, and it feels like a new start. It feels like I've brought something out that I haven't looked at for a while, and I can stitch on it again. And I can be all enthusiastic and put my all into it. Whereas for the last 20 odd years, focusing on one project at a time, it was just very easy for me to become bored with it. Very easy to say, oh, I really don't feel like stitching on that tonight. It's just not calling to me. So this way, I feel my projects are always calling to me, and it's all about, okay, let's see how much I can get done of this week before I put it away until next month. That's really all there is to it. As far as the writing in the journal is concerned, I just write each night, just write little notes, and I put in if I have a new start and how long I spent on it, how many hours, because if I use my timekeeper app. I don't use a timekeeper app for all my projects, just for the ones that I want to keep track of, and I don't do that for anyone else, so I'm not in a race with anyone. It's just for my own benefit, just so I can look back, and it's purely for time management planning for the future, so that if I choose a design I want to do some months later and I can see that it's a similar size, I can go back and say, well, that one took me 2 weeks and 40 hours of stitching, so I can allocate that amount of time to do this. Just gives me a rough idea of how long it will take to plan something. The other thing I like about this particular journal is it's got an expenses section, which I have crossed out and changed to finishes and FFOs, and I can just write in there the date that I finished objects, and I've got to update this. I haven't put in my cottage that I finished today, but I can just refer to that quickly each month and see what number I'm up to, and that's pretty much it. Don't really use a lot of the other parts yet. With me, it's all about just trying new things and seeing what works. Not everything works the way I plan it, and I decide to change things along the way, but for now it's really working for me, and it's much easier writing it all in one diary. I also write if I've had to frog or something that I needed to change, I write that in here as well, just to refer back to later on. Now the other thing I wanted to chat about, Laurel sent me a message on Facebook and was asking me, I had a little chat about my stitching and how I stay focused each night, and she asked me to mention in my next video, and I didn't do that because I forgot. So I'm going to mention it here, and she thought it would be helpful to explain how I get so much stitching done each night. There's really nothing magic about it. I basically have a plan. Okay, so this is how my day works. I get up in the morning. The idea is to check my Facebook messages and check Facebook before I leave for work. That hasn't worked well in January because I've been going to bed too late and sleeping in and not allowing myself that spare time in front of the computer each morning. So I've been lacking there, and I have to fix that. Anyway, I go to work, come home. In the afternoon, I might get an hour to stitch. If not, I can use that time to answer some messages. Prepare dinner, clean up after dinner. Once everything's cleaned up after dinner, that's my time. That's when I then sit down and I stitch. So we're talking anywhere between 7 to 8 p.m. is around the time that I would sit down and stitch at night time. Very rare that I get to sit down before 7 p.m. I'm a night owl, so I tend to go to bed around 12 or 1, which is really bad, and I really regret that every morning. But I just thoroughly love what I'm stitching, and I'm definitely one of those people that says, well, one more stitch. I'll just finish this last section, I'll go to bed. So by sitting down between 7 and 8 at night, I get roughly 4 to 5 hours of stitching done each night. And that is generally uninterrupted stitching. So what I mean by that is my phone is in another room. My iPad is with me because I generally use that to check off my charts on Good Reader. But all the notification settings are turned off. So I basically do not have any distractions. I don't answer any messages, phone calls, things like that. Well, no one really rings me at night anyway because they know I'm stitching. So I have the TV on, I'm with my family, you know, we enjoy quality time together, but I can just sit and stitch solidly. I found that by having a phone nearby, it's very easy to get into a conversation with people, which is lovely. But then by the end of the night, I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve, and then I get upset with myself. So that is the only real reason that I get a lot of stitching done, because I put those distractions aside. I deal with those during the day. Nighttime is my time, and it's time for me to stitch. I also stitch two-handed. I stitch with a scroll frame. So I have my right hand, my dominant hand on top, because it feels more natural for me that way. My least dominant hand is underneath, and I stitch like this. Two-handed stitching, 4 to 5 hours a night, I get a lot done. And that's all there is to it. no secrets, no tips, other than if you want to get more stitching done, I suggest allowing yourself to do certain things at certain times of the day. But that's only if you want to really solidly concentrate on your stitching and not let those distractions get in the way. Put them aside, put them in another room where you're not going to get distracted. That's what works for me. So I hope I've explained that properly. If you have any questions regarding that, just as usual, comment down below. I have just caught up with answering all the messages. There are some personal messages on YouTube that I have yet to answer, so I will get to those. Someone said to me the other day, it shouldn't be a full-time job answering messages, but it certainly is feeling like one, because I just seem to be doing a lot of that. Okay, so we've gone through January whips, February plans, rotations, stitching time, purchases, and there's very few. Okay, in a previous video I mentioned that I hated my rotary cutter, so I bought a new one. There we go. This is an Alpha rotary cutter and I love it. It has a safety switch there, so that's locked, so it can't be used. Great for if you have children, get a little bit nosy about things. You just press that little red button in and then squeeze the trigger and roll it. And you know what? No pressure at all. It's so lovely. I just love the ergonomic shape to it. And I also got some of the wavy blades, so my little felt ornament can be fixed up for next year. Just behind me there. So remember I did this one and I had to use pinking shears and I wasn't really happy with that. So now I have this, and I'll get around to that. Put it on the list of things to do. So it was purchase 1, and I tried really hard to find it and I can't find it. There were 2 lovely ladies, and I don't know if you're the same person, whether you know how we all have different names on Instagram, but I got a notification on my channel and I got a notification on Instagram that Victoria Sampler Designs, the gingerbread series that I was stitching, that I've bought, ABC Stitch Therapy had them on clearance. I just want to thank you so very much for letting me know that. My credit card doesn't thank you, but I thank you, because prices were really cheap, and I haven't bought from Stitch Therapy before. I managed to get the Needleworks shop that I mentioned that I loved, and I really still want to start this one first. Have a look at the back, guys. See, the little roof comes off and it's a lined box. It's so cute. And this was a kit, and I can't, if anyone's interested in, I was just going to say if you're interested in the prices, but they'll all be gone now, so it doesn't really matter. Here's the pack. Now I have to show you. I have to just pull these out for a minute. Are these not the most gorgeous buttons you have ever seen? Whoops. Aren't they adorable? All you snowmen lovers out there are now going gaga over those little buttons. They are the most amazing things I've seen. So that pack says $62.82 US. I didn't pay that. I can't remember what I paid, but it was cheaper, and it definitely warranted me buying. So yeah, as I said, I got that kit. Still have to get the fabric, And I got the bakery, just the chart. But I figured, you know, I'm going to do the whole set. If they're going out on clearance, I might as well get them when they're cheaper. There's the back. So it's just going to spur me on even more to do these. I love them. So the plan is to start these around April, because in March I will have finished my Country Cottage of the Year series, and I will be looking for something new to replace that with. So which one to start first? Do I stay with number 1 like I originally planned, or do I cave and start with the Needleworks shop? I don't know. I might start with number 1. I think that was all I bought. I was really, really good. As I said, I've decided to stitch as much as I can using my stash. I have so many fabrics and designs and beautiful things there, and I want to stitch them before I change my mind and I don't like them anymore, because that does happen, sadly. I feel like I've forgotten something, but I can't think of anything else, so I'm going to leave it there. I knew I forgot something. I told you I did. Luckily, I remembered just before I edited this video. My beautiful friend Michelle, who sent me the gorgeous DeHaviland silk threads. Please excuse my dog barking at the umbrella. Has just started a blog, and I'm going to put the links down below with all the details. Please go check her out. And if you want a chance to be able to purchase these exquisite silk threads, so I've plaited the ones that I've used because Michelle showed me how to do that. Alright, absolutely gorgeous silk threads. I've shown them on my videos a couple of times now, so please go check out her blog. She will have some details up there soon about how you can purchase some of these for yourself. She is located in the UK, but I believe they will be available worldwide, and you really don't want to miss out on these. They are gorgeous. So thank you very much for that. I want to thank you all for your beautiful comments. I've received a lot of comments this past month, and I appreciate all your kind words, and thank you again to all, and welcome to all the new subscribers, by the way. It's nearly 4,000 now. It's crazy. Glad to be able to share some stuff with you, and I have to catch up. If someone has a way for me to catch up on these videos, please help. I'm going to watch Pam's video tonight. She's just, I don't know if she just put it up. I think it's a few weeks ago. She put up a video on starting with the waist knot or the away knot on the front of your work. And I want to do that because I'm going to be doing a design on 40 count this year with 1 thread, and I need a new way of starting. So I'm really looking forward to watching that video of yours, Pam. And that's it. That's it for today. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for all your comments and your likes and subscriptions, you know, all that jazz. And thanks again, guys, and I hope you have a great stitching week, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye for now.